Right, hi, this is Lewis. I got a video here that I thought should be put out there. I know there's a couple of other people that put videos out about UK knife laws, but I thought that I would chip in and kind of do my own, because it will be relevant to a lot of the reviews that I do, because I do live in the UK, and I'm reviewing knives, so I thought I'd fill you in on some of them. Any American people watching, or anyone from any other country, feel free to laugh at any point, because I wouldn't blame you. Not to say that some of these are ridiculous, but they don't completely make sense all of the time. But anyway, in public, which is any place that is readily available for anybody in the public to go to, um, that is counted as a public place. It could be somewhere you need to book to get to, anything like that. If it's somewhere that people can go publicly, that counts as a public place. And in those kind of places, the only knives that you can carry, they have to be under 3 inches, and they have to be non-locking. And just so that you don't get bored looking at my hand all the time, I'm going to show you a couple of things. I've done a review on this. This is a tiny little knife, about 2 inches, but because it has a locking mechanism, it is illegal to carry in public. However, and I'll have a video coming up soon on this one, is my open L. Keeping this off because I don't particularly like open Ls. But anyway, this is a slip joint, as in there's no locking mechanism to open like that, so you could carry this, right? In public, you can carry anything that has less than a 3-inch blade and is non-locking, just as like a basic utility. You know, some people would argue that they need a knife for everyday things, and that's understandable in the eyes of the law. You can have non-locking knives, but I don't know how much sense that makes, because it's not like a non-locking knife is any safer. If somebody's going to attack you with a knife, it doesn't really make any difference if it's a slip joint or if it's fixed. It doesn't make it less lethal if somebody has the intent to use it like that. Which also leads me on to say that anything, by the way, in a public place doesn't necessarily. You can't take this like a non-locking folding knife anywhere. Obviously, you couldn't take it into a school. You can't take it to places like I don't know, a pub, nightclub, football game, things like that, because they are considered to be offensive weapons. And I'll read you off some laws and acts in a minute, but anything at all that you have in a public place, if a police officer deems that you have it as an offensive weapon, regardless of whatever it is, you can be guilty of an offence. If you're carrying, like I say, it doesn't matter if it's an 18-inch machete. That's obviously an offensive weapon. But if you're looking menacing and you have a can of soup in your hand, or a phone book, or anything you care to mention really at all, if you've got a particularly sharp-looking carrot or something like that, that can be deemed an offensive weapon. So, you've got to be careful, not so much just what you carry, but how you carry it, where you carry it, what you look like when you are carrying it, things like that. Just, that's the laws. Anything can be an offensive weapon. And knives are, even if it is completely legal to carry it in a certain circumstance, like it's non-locking and it's under 3 inches, if it's marketed as, tactical or military, special ops, anything like that, if you've got a black knife with a tanto point and stuff like that, and it's got a leg sheath, anything like that, if it's marketed as like a combat knife as well, anything that's like the way it's marketed, the way it's sold, is made out to be just for fighting, for inflicting harm, things like that, those are also, they will carry a lot more weighting if you do get caught with them. Oh, and actually, any knife that, it's kind of a grey area, but any knife that is marketed in a way that it's suitable for combat under the Knives Act of 1997, that's illegal. But that is a very grey area that is kind of left up to the discretion of people who market and sell knives, and any cases that get filed or whatever. It's kind of down to the individual cases on that one, because it's so hard to enforce. And a lot of the times it's up to a police officer's discretion if he wants to charge you for an offence. If he thinks that you're carrying, if you have like a 1 centimetre long non-locking knife, but you're looking menacing, he thinks, you know, the police officer stops you and they think you're going to be in a fight, something like that, that's an offensive weapon. Like I say, same as anything. But, however, you can, in a public place, carry any, like, within reason, within justified reason. If you're going fishing, you know, if you're at a lake or something, or if you're doing bushcraft, if you're in a camping site, things like that, you can have things like axes and, you know, longer knives, fixed blades, things like that. But even then, of course, it depends all on the kind of individual situation. But generally, if you have a valid reason, it's acceptable to have them in a public place. Similarly, you could have, if you're a chef and you're carrying around, you know, a meat cleaver, you could have that in like a, you know, padded suitcase or whatever, carrying it to and from work on the bus, something like that, or the train. That's actually completely legal because you have a valid reason. Similarly, for part of, a knife that's part of a national dress, there's a dagger, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, as part of a Scottish national dress. That would be legal. I think there's a kapan in in Sikh religion, which would also be legal to carry because of religious or part of a cultural dress. They're all, you know, within valid reason. Again, they are legal. But however, and Americans, listen up. In the UK, it is completely, under any circumstances, buying, selling, manufacture, import, export, all that kind of stuff is completely illegal under all circumstances to have switchblades, automatic blades, push daggers, any kind of concealed weapons, including belt buckle knives, ones inside pens and hairbrushes, sword canes, pepper spray, blowpipes, balisongs, samurai swords, gravity knives, and stealth knives. All entirely, completely, highly legal under every circumstance. Although you can, same as handguns, get hold of them, but they are highly illegal. And a couple of laws that have been passed over the years. I mean, it started with the Restriction of Offensive Weapons Act in 1959, where they first banned switchblades and automatic knives because of the Teddy Boys, to reduce crime. Then in 1988, under the Criminal Justice Act, the belt buckle knife and push daggers, they were all banned. Another similar knives. Under the Offensive Weapons Act in 1996, you had to be over 16 to buy any knife. You can't have anything inside a school or a public place, not just a knife, anything that could be considered a weapon. That's when that was passed. And you can be arrested without warrant as well. It's up to the officer's discretion. Anything that could be used as an offensive weapon. Anything. And then in the age for buying knives was raised to 18 in 2006. And it was the General Knives Act in 1997, which said that any knife suitable for combat, and if it's marketed as such, could be. That was outlawed. Any kind of marketing of weapons suitable for combat and things like that, it was outlawed. But that's a very grey area again. So yeah, just a couple of little points there, just in case people are confused. So you can carry larger things and fixed blades and stuff like that if you have a very valid reason, for educational purposes. You know, if it's part of your job, national dress, religion, things like that, or if you need it for your craft, your fisherman, you know, your camping, anything like that. And other than that, you can have non-locking blades. Also, if you have like a, you know, fixed blade on a multi-tool. This is just a cheap, rubbishy one. You wouldn't be interested in what brand that is. But yeah, that would also be legal. But it is very much up to the officer's discretion. So be sensible, use your common sense, and you would be able to carry under 3 inches of folding knife. So I hope you've learnt something from this. I'm not a lawyer, so please don't rely on anything I've said in court, but this is just some general information. I'll post some links in the description just to give people a general idea. But I'm not held responsible for anything that, you know, may happen as a result of watching this video. But anyway, this has been Lewis. Thanks for watching.